Um, so I've always been really, really interested in the human body. I became very interested in personal training when I was actually in high school. Um, and actually, I became very interested in rehab therapy. So that sparked my interest in kinesiology as my undergrad major. And what promoted me, like what prompted me to get here was when I was 16, my dad became very depressed, and uh, it really hindered my relationship with him because I just didn't understand it. And I don't think he really understood it either. And it created a lot of conflict there. Um, and I was learning a lot about the human body and the human mind. And to me, it always has seemed very, very interconnected, those two working together. So to whatever capacity I could, I would try to make him, go on a walk or just do any form of activity because he was very, very sedentary. But still, because he was obviously in a very depressed state and I was 16, like I didn't know the right ways to, motivate him or help him. And I just think it really deteriorated our relationship. We're fine now. Later in life, we sorted everything out and we're in really, really good terms. We're very close now, but I think it took me understanding what he was going through to get there. And then also so that was when I was 16. And when I was 17, my mom was diagnosed with breast cancer. So she had to go through chemotherapy, radiation, physiotherapy, everything. And because my dad was working and I was in school, so I became like my mom's main caretaker. So I was going to every appointment. I was going to her radiation sessions. I was going to every chemotherapy, meeting with the osteopaths. I was there. And I even went with her to her physiotherapy sessions. And her physiotherapist was a really, really inspiring woman. And she would teach me different ways and techniques to, massage my mom when she needed it. But she would also tell me how to approach talking to my mom about physiotherapy and about rehab therapy. And it just reinforced this idea that everything related to the body is not just a physical challenge, it's also such a huge mental challenge. At this time, I was still very much interested in the mind and body connection. When I came to college is when I started my first year of college. I gained a lot of weight because obviously I was eating res food and it was difficult. I was moved to a new literal continent. I had to adapt, make new friends, do school. It was very, very stressful. So I gained a lot of weight. And I was in kinesiology, so it was a lot of pressure. I felt a lot of pressure about my body and the way that I looked because everyone around me was so fit and active. And that's kind of what was like the final straw about what got me to finally get my certification in personal training, was so I could like help myself. But through being a personal trainer, I feel like I've learned a lot more about the mind and the body connection. So, yeah.
And why did you pick here?
So I'm originally Indian, but I grew up for my whole life pretty much in Singapore. I chose to come. It was a decision between Canada and America for my college, and I just when I was looking at the UBC website and their like what they stood for, I thought it just like really aligned with what I wanted. On top of that, they had such a great kinesiology program, and I knew I wanted to do kinesiology, and so I was going to go wherever offered the best program that was here.
Do you remember the specific moment that happened that you're like, I have to become a trainer to help myself?
Yeah, so I started to volunteer at a gym at UBC called Bodyworks, and I was just a volunteer. I just was doing it because I was interested again, just wanted to like expand my knowledge. And I was working with a personal trainer at the time, and he was so smart and so caring. He would share everything about everything he knew. He was just very open with me. And I was like, damn, like I want to be able to do that. Not just for myself, but for like people who I know. And, so I think that was when I started working with him was when I realized like, okay, I want to get certified.
Nice. I like that. So what does personal training mean to you?
Personal training is, I just look at it as I know not everyone sees it as like a very overall kind of person you have, but I think as a personal trainer, I want to be very holistic because that's just what I believe in. You know, I don't think health is going to improve with just focusing on one aspect. I think it's definitely more holistic. So to me, personal training is, you know, being able to help someone physically, but also keeping them accountable with other aspects of their life, and being someone to like challenge another person when they need it and push them when they need it. And then also like just share information as much as I can.
And why is that important?
I just really like to learn. I just am always trying to learn from whatever I do, whoever I meet. So I just, hopefully when I meet someone, I feel like I want to be able to do that for them as well. I just think I really understand the struggle of, I feel like in today's world with like the internet and everything, I have experienced the pressure of, you know, wanting to have the ideal body and not meeting the standards of beauty that are like set out and presented to everyone. And I understand the impact that that has on your mental health because I did go through that myself. And especially being a new person in a new place, in a new setting, and not being able to control that when for the rest of my life, like I've always been an athlete, I've always been very fit and active. And so when I came here and I experienced, you know, anxiety and, you know, body dysmorphia and all of that in my first year of college, I think I started out with not knowing much of how to like get out of that. And even when I was improving and even when I was progressing, I still didn't give myself credit, and I didn't value that actually like what I was doing was working. I still just, you know, I just was very mean to myself. And I think I had to learn how to appreciate my progress, my own progress, and learn that it's not about, I had to really learn how to dissociate myself from what the ideal beauty standard is set out to be. And I just knew that I wanted me to look like the best version of myself rather than hold myself to like an external, an external body that I would never ever be able to achieve because it's not real. I think a lot of people struggle with the same thing about how they, you know, they want to look and feel a certain way, but it's really difficult to get there. And it's really about your mental state and, you know, working out the right way and doing the right things that work well with your body and being able to push yourself. And that takes a lot more than, you know, you could imagine.
Was there one takeaway for somebody that's listening that you can give for a tip today?
Something that worked for me really well was to actually look at myself in the mirror actively every day and say one nice thing about myself. And that's what I did for months. I can't even tell you how long I did that for in order to like feel good about where I was.
Awesome. And obviously it's working. Consistency is key. And how do you feel today?
I feel great. I feel confident. I feel strong. I've never been stronger in my life. I feel so good about that. And I'm really, really proud of myself for changing my goals to be performance goals. And, you know, I do definitely have goals for what my body looks like as well. But I think those are kind of secondhand to my performance goals. And I know that that's just like a byproduct of all the other things that I want to achieve, you know?
And do you feel that it made life easier with maybe family, friends, school, any or all?
I think being able to be confident in every situation has helped me in every aspect of my life. Even taking an exam, I feel I'm already, when I've studied for the exam, I'm like, yep, I know I'm going to do well. Even that, you know, talking to people, making friends, everything. When I was feeling, when I started to feel confident, that all just like fell into place by itself. It felt like it was easy. Whereas initially that was really, really difficult.